First red card. Why don't you lead us off here? Back to the commons.
We're at Harried Spearguard, red for a 1/1 haste. When it dies, create a rat that can't block.
Yeah, that seems pretty solid to me. You're going to peck in for a point. It's going to die into something. It's another 1-drop to suit up. Yeah, this looks like a card that you're... I think at least a C, and I think probably a C+. I doubt you're going to cut this from a red deck.
I was going to go C.
Okay, just slightly low impact maybe. Yeah, that's right. Just because... I agree with that because I think there are going to be some red decks that aren't as thrilled about making a rat. Like, you're going to be fine. It's material to do stuff with, but you're not going to be thrilled about it in like your blue-red deck, for example.
It's also one of the few cards that blocks Ginger Brute.
That's funny. That is pretty funny. Not too effectively because of trades, but
yeah, that's you get a token out of it.
You know what? I actually am talking myself up a little bit on this. I'm going to give it a C+. I think that the fact that
Alex is never cutting it. You heard it here.
Yeah, folks. I don't know. I don't think so because I think you're either going to you're going to really care about rats, or you're really going to care about bargain, or you're really going to care about just a hasty cheap creature for celebration. I don't know. I just think it just fills a lot of roles in a lot of decks.
Yeah, you could be right.
Yeah, we'll see. Next up, we got Kindled Heroism. Oh, God, I read this card in the card file. I'm like, oh man, I thought they were gonna stop printing these cards. Single red mana for an instant. Target creature gets +0/+1 and gains first strike until on a turn you scry 1. Just like the lowest, the bottom of the barrel for combat tricks. You really, it just doesn't trade up with enough stuff is the problem.
The weird thing is that like Scry 2 almost seems like it would be really good though.
Yeah, if you gave it a little bit of maybe that next time we'll see it. That's what they do, right?
Yeah, so I kind of get it, but yeah, I'm not excited about this.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go D-. It's not a good combat trick.
I'll go D.
Okay. Next one, we got Torch the Tower. This is single red mana for an instant with bargain. It deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker, and if the spell is bargained, you deal 3 instead, and you scry 1, and that creature gets exiled no matter if you bargained or not.
Yeah, this is shock on steroids.
Yeah, well, a more direct comparison even is we had Flame Blessed Bolt in Crimson Vow, and this is just better than that. Like it's just straight up better. Yeah, this is the real deal.
Is this like a B+?
I think it's a B+. Yeah, I read this card. I thought it was gonna be an uncommon. Like it has so much text, it just is better than what you usually get at common. Yeah, I think this card's really strong. What do we have next?
Next is Bespoke Battle Garb. 1 in a red for an equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. Equip cost is 2, but at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you celebrated, you can attach it to up to 1 creature you control.
So if like imagine this just said 2 mana, like it was 1 in a red, 0 to equip, but you'd only do it once per turn, right? Let's just say. How much would you like that card?
Not even like that much.
No, not even that much. It's like, it helps your smaller things trade up, like rat tokens. I think that might be kind of the idea with it. Yeah, I'm just out on this. Like, this is the tried and true. Until an equipment is proven to be good, if it doesn't read well, just count it as not a good card. And that's been true for quite a while. So I'm going to give this a D-.
Yeah, I already wrote down D- for myself as well.
Grand Ball Guest. 2 mana, 1 in a red for a 2/2 human peasant. Celebration gets +1/+1 and has trample.
Yeah, that's this card's nice.
Yeah, that's a meaningful bonus.
This card it doesn't die to the pingers, and it's so hard to block it. Like 3/3 trample for 2 is huge.
Yeah, I think this you're very rarely gonna cut this from your red decks. It's the C+.
Yeah, this is probably the 2-drop you want the most in. Aside, I guess, the white enchantment one, but maybe like in the whole set. Like this is, it might even end up having B- stats. But I kind of agree with you that it's a C+ because it only blocks as a 2/2.
Sweet, yeah, C+ for Grand Ball Guest looks like a good one. This one though, I like this one. Rat Catcher Trainee, 1 in a red for a 2/1. It's an adventure though, so it's a 2/1 first strike on your turn. Is the 2 mana 2/1 first strike your turn. The adventure, 3 mana, 2 in a red. Pest Problem. It's an instant. You make 2 rat tokens.
Yeah, so this was one of the first cards spoiled, I believe. And then they also started showing us a bunch of cards that use the rat tokens well, and everyone was like, "Oh, you can just make this rat deck," but there's not a lot of other great rat producers as strong as this.
Yes, and this one is, to be clear, quite strong.
Yeah, this is really good, but I think it also tricked people in the spoilers thinking that it would be easy to get rats.
Yep.
And it's not as easy as this card might have led people to believe.
Totally. This is a good example, I think. This is a good example of what I was describing earlier, when it's like, well, if you don't have a 2, you should just play this on 2. Don't worry about, catching rats and then playing this on turn 4 or something. Yeah, but it's great if you can, right? If you can just go like a curve of 2-drop into the adventure into double 2-drop or something. You're gonna do that quite often. Top deck this, 5 mana, cast it. Yeah, just great. What do you want to give it?
Also, instant speed celebration. One of the very few cards that can do that.
I didn't pick up on that. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, like the fact that this is an instant, you can play it in blue-red and leave up your draw 2 or your counterspell and combat tricks. Like the fact that this is an instant is huge.
Yeah. B minus?
Is it like a B?
I'm gonna go B minus. I think. Just because. It's.
I know it's hard to go higher.
It is like.
I'm gonna go for a hot take B.
B. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I think that. Yeah, we don't have to go too deep on it, but yeah, we're both pretty high on it. Ratcatcher is great. This is a 2-drop that perplexes me. Skewer Slinger. This is 1 red for a 1/3 reach. Okay. And when it blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, it deals 1 damage to that creature.
So this card's pretty bad, but the combination of abilities do make it like pretty decent on defense.
Yeah, it's a fine defensive creature. Blocks is a 2/3 reach.
But like, what red deck are you drafting that wants to play defense?
Blue-red is the only thing I can think of, and that.
Blue-red, you just rather have a spell stutter or any spell.
Sideboard card versus fairies.
Oh, for sure. It's really good in best of 3. I'd like this card if I'm playing best of 3, but I think this is like a D, maybe even D minus.
I'd give it a D or a D minus. Yeah, somewhere in that range. Just not particularly exciting. Witch's Mark is up next. This is 1 red for a sorcery. You can discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. Really nice too, because this is a variant. It's a Tormenting Voice style card, but it's not like if they counter this, you're down a card. It's not a cost to discard the card. And in addition to the Tormenting Voice effect, you get create a Wicked Roll token and attach it to a creature you control.
Yeah, remembering this card makes me slightly regret that I didn't put the 1-drop as a C+, because
nice little card.
This card is so good off of the 1-drop.
Yeah,
this card is so good just in general, but like if you don't have a 2-drop and you can cast this with a 1-drop in play, you're still pretty happy.
Yeah, so I know this isn't a perfect comparison, but if you think about this kind of like Coral's End in some ways, where it's a filtering to effect that gives you +1/+1 of stats, and it's a roll token, mind you, is much worse than a 1/1 token, but it's like similar in nature of what you're getting for your mana input. And I would give, I think this is more of a C than a C+, but I'm curious to hear what you want to say about that.
I have it like closer to a C+ than a B-.
Wait, what?
You said it's closer to a C than a C+.
Oh, I see. Yes. Okay.
It's like almost a B-, but actually a C+.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna just give it a C still, because I think you just don't want to run too many of these. Right? I think the first one's gonna be good, but I think you're gonna cut copies of this card.
Yeah, I mean, if you have like 4, sure, but I think the first two of these always make it back.
Okay. No, yeah, you talked me up. Yeah, let's go. I'll join you at C+.
Okay.
And next up, we've got Flick of a Coin. This is a cool one. 2 red for an instant. Flick of the Coin deals 1 damage to any target. You create a treasure token. Okay, that's pretty good. And you draw a card. Nice little combo of effects for 3 mana.
Yeah, so that instant speed treasure, you can bargain it. It's for celebration. It splashes for you. It pings. It draws. It kind of does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, really, really does. And I don't think you're going to have problems finding targets in this set. Like, sometimes it's like, all right, let's look at the coins, a little bit awkward. I think you just like imagine your opponent plays a turn 2. You play a 2. They play a turn 2 rat catcher thing, the 2 on first strike. You cast this. You kill a creature. You draw a card. You make a treasure. That's great. It's not gonna happen all the time, of course, but the opportunity cost on this card is quite low. You can cycle it and make a treasure for 2 mana. Effectively, sorry, for 3 mana. Effectively, it's a 2 mana card at that point. Man, I don't know if I'm talking myself up too much on this card, but I do like it.
Yeah, I have a tough time grading this because I think it's going to be great, but I kind of want to give it like a C.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, can you? Because I think this one does have some amount of diminishing returns, right? The first one you draw at an unopportune time, you're like, okay, that's fine. I'll find some place. When you draw 2 and they don't have great targets, you feel pretty bad, right? I think I like your C. Yeah, I definitely like your C on Flick of the Coin. All right, and what do we have next?
Next is Frantic Firebolt, and you might notice the red cards, there's been a lot of good ones, and there's a lot more good ones. Ooh. Like, red is quite the color. 2 in a red for an instant deals X damage to target creature, where X is 2 plus the number of your cards in your graveyard that are instants, sorceries, or adventures.
So, do we think we're going to just consider this a good red card, or is this a synergy card?
I think this is just a good red card.
I'm a little bit more hesitant on it, I think, because your 3 mana deal 3 is always fine, like solid, but not exciting. Or you're happy to put the card in your deck, but it's not like, man, I'm getting a super sick deal. This is worse on turn 3. And there's going to be some decks that just don't make this more than more than 2 for a long while.
What? Whoa. Okay, so we've already seen just in red commons, there's Shock, there's Catcher Trainee, there's the Bitter Reunion, and there's Flick a Coin. So there's already 4 cards we've got to this, and there's actually, more to come.
Right. So you're saying you think the red package is just going to have good spells in it, and it doesn't matter what you pair it with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that. Yeah, I don't know. This might be one we disagree on. I think I'm going to start lower on that.
Okay, well, yeah. I was going to give it a C.
Oh, okay. I was going to give it a C too. I thought you were going to talk it up a little bit. Yeah, because okay, that makes sense. Because as much as I'm talking about the downside, there's upside too. It scales quite well, right? If you do have a deck that's great for it, it's going to deal 4 or 5 sometimes. Okay, yeah.
We were at risk of actually disagreeing there,
I know,
but luckily...
it was so close. So we'd have to just, complete a rebrand here. Yeah. Let's give a C to the Frantic Firebolt. And if you're in a deck that's particularly spell heavy, it's going to be a C+, right? It's going to perform quite well. It's going to be a good removal spell as the game goes on. All right, Gnawing Crescendo, great name. 2 in a red for an instant. Creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn, and whenever a non-token creature you control dies this turn, you make a rat token.
Yeah, this card's weird, because normally you want those cards to just kill your opponent, and this one, the ability is like, well, we can keep playing the game, because I still have all these permanents.
Right, yeah. I think mostly... man, this is tough. Because the thing is, you're not going... This might be a black-white card, or sorry, black-red card specifically, because I think black is the only color actually going wide. Like, it's making rat tokens multiple bodies. Black and red, actually, sorry, I should say. So I think it's much more of a in-color card, like what it's telling you to do, play with rats, than anything else. I think there it's fine, though. Like, it's a fine filler C- level card.
Yeah, the weird thing is, this should often make at least, it's going to make at least 2 rats.
Right, that's
and
what I'm
whatever their blockers were for the rats are probably going to be gone, right? Because, like, they're not going to have creatures with lots of toughness left, because there are lots of creatures' toughness blocked during the previous combat.
Mm-hmm. This is also...
tough one to evaluate. I'm going to go, like, C-, I think.
Also worth noting, some of these effects, like Trumpet Blast, is only on attacks. This is on blocks, too. Right? Not that your rats can block, but, your other creatures. Yeah, I think C- sounds about right. In black-red. Cool. All right, what's up next?
Next is Merry Bards. 2 in a red for a 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, you may pay 1. If you do, create a young hero roll attached to target creature you control.
Right,
so the white one had to target itself, but this one is a 3/2 and can target anything.
Yeah, this is an example of what you were saying. Some of the cards are just better than the white cards. They're like better versions of the white cards. It's not that it's exactly the same, but I think this is better.
Yeah, well, like young hero is the one you most want to have to be able to put on something else, so you can trigger it right away and get that attack in.
Yes, that's true.
I think this
So
card's pretty decent.
I think it's just a C. Yeah, it triggers their celebration. You know, I'll always have to obligatory triggers their celebration, but yeah, that's a fine card.
Yep, I'm with
Cool.
you on C.
C for Merry Bards. Next up, we got Minecart Daredevil. This is 2 and a red for a vanilla 4/2 adventure. And the adventure side is an instant Ride the Rails. 1 and a red, target creature gets +2/+1 until end of turn.
Yeah, I really like this card.
Yeah, it's solid. It's cool.
Are you cutting this card? Because I think I'm not.
I think you will sometime. So there's a very similar card in OG Eldraine, Garen Brigg Carver. It gave +2/+2, and was a worse spotty. It was a 4 mana 3/2. Okay, you know that was the comparison I had in my head, but this is the creature is much better on rate. The trick's a little bit worse, of course, but I think that's okay.
It also helps our red green 4 power deck.
Yeah, it's a 3 mana. Oh yes, that's very true. You go your Picnic Ruiner or whatever that was called, the double striker into this. Yeah, that's kind of nice. Okay, I'm up on this. I'm up on this. Where do you want to give it?
Okay, you're gonna join me at C plus then?
Let's do it. Yeah, C plus for Minecart Daredevil.
All right.
Red Cap Thief is next. 2 and a red for a 2/3 Goblin Rogue. When it enters the battlefield, you make a treasure token.
Yeah, and I really like this card too. Almost the definition is going to be tougher for red because you're going to end up cutting C plus cards just because there's so many good red cards.
Yeah, and they all do very similar things. Like that's what I like about this deck, or this color. They're very redundant, right? Like so many. How many cards have we seen so far? It's like, oh yeah, that triggered celebration, right? Like this one too, So and usually we see this. There was a version in Lord of the Rings. I feel that was kind of like this. What was the card that like came in, make a treasure? Maybe it was from March of the Machine. There's a recent card that I remember. It was like a 3 mana 2/2 comes in making treasure, and that card was not great, but 2/3 is a pretty decent upgrade on that.
Lord of the Rings had the Amass 2 one.
That's what I was thinking. Soria and Moria, yeah, which is even worse because that's an aura sometimes.
Yeah.
See,
but this is like halfway between Swarming / Plundering Barbarian and Jewel Thief, which was incredible.
Yeah, it's like 3/4 of the way to a Jewel Thief or something. Yeah, I guess a C. I think it's solid.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on C.
Cool. C for Red Cap Thief. What do we have next?
Next is Unruly Catapult. 2 and a red for a 0/4 Defender artifact creature. You can tap it to deal 1 damage to each opponent, and when you cast an instant or sorcery, untap Unruly Catapult.
Okay, so pretty clearly pointed as a spells card. Maybe blue-red. Maybe you have a blue-black or a black-red deck that this does enough win. But this effect is pretty strong. There's some variants of this. Like there's the Goblin from Phyrexian LB1 that you had to keep casting spells to do this, right? To keep pinging. And at some point, if you stopped casting spells, you didn't get the oil on your card and it just stopped pinging. The fact that this always pings, and sometimes pings twice per turn, 3 times per turn sometimes, is a really big difference. So this is the kind that I'm interested in this card. I actually think this is a legit card. A lot of cards actually like this we've seen in recent years. It's been gated by, you can't just keep doing it. You don't get 1 free per turn. Getting 1 free per turn is big. Now, you got to have a deck with a lot of spells. You're not going to put this in like your red attacking aggro decks. But I think in the more like a little bit slower, maybe blue-red, maybe a little grindy, this is a card I'm interested in.
You're saying the words maybe blue-red, and then can I interest you in a certain bonus sheet card called Curiosity?
Oh, what a banger combo. Yeah, so for those who don't know, Curiosity is a 1 blue mana enchantment that, of course, we're going to get to tomorrow in the rares. It's an aura, and whenever that creature deals damage, you draw a card. But that's not limited to combat damage. That's
it's damage to a player. Yeah, it's
damage to a player. Sorry, yeah. Okay. So what do you like of Curiosity aside? Are you also a fan of this card to some degree?
Curiosity aside, I'm not very high on this because it doesn't really stop the opponent from attacking. It just like takes down one of their attackers. Like you're not gonna, they're still gonna keep hitting you, right? Excuse me. With Curiosity, I think it's great, but aside from that, I would give it like D plus probably.
Yeah, I might have sounded like I was trying to talk it up way high, but I was mostly kind of trying to talk it up from if this doesn't look that good to, because I think it probably doesn't look that good to most people, or at least not that much different than those cards that we've seen in the past few years that didn't spot you on every turn. It's still not amazing. I was gonna give it a C in those decks, but yeah, you're not gonna pick it highly. You're gonna get them if you want them. Oh, here's the one that you were talking about. Cut in here. 3 and a red for a sorcery. Cut in deals 4 damage to target creature. You create a young hero role token attached to one target creature you control. Yeah, this card's great.
Yeah, because that 4 damage should open up an attack for you, and then if you can get an attack with your young hero and have it survive, then you might be able to get another attack and get a second counter, and then you're really doing it.
Yeah. The combo of kill a thing, add stats to my board is probably a little more powerful than you might think. Because just imagine you go 2-drop, 3-drop, they go 2-drop, 3-drop. Turn 4, you go cut in your 3, and my 2-drop can now attack past your 2-drop because it got buffed, and my 3-drop can also attack in. And now you don't have a creature, and I'm hitting you for 6. Right? That's often the play pattern with this card. And with young hero roll, it's just gonna keep on. The hits are gonna keep on coming.
Yeah, I still, it's not the best card on defense. It is a sorcery. Yes. It does have some downside, so I was still going to give it a C+.
Okay, yeah, C+ is where I would land too.
Okay.
Edgewall Pack, 3 and a red for a 3/3 dog with menace. When ETBs, you make a rat.
So kind of chimney rabble, but also again the not being able to block is huge.
Yeah, you're trading in haste for menace, which I think is not a good exchange.
It's not bad.
No, it's not a bad one, but I prefer haste.
I still like chimney rabble was somewhere in the B range. Mm-hmm. This is to me probably still a C+.
Yeah, it's just like the 2-1 that we talked about in black, where it's like, yeah, a lot of the value of this card is that these kind of cards that they stabilize you so well because they make 2 bodies, and this doesn't quite do that the same way. But the other half of this is, attacking with 2 bodies is also very good. So you can't knock it too much. I would also give a C+ to Edgewall Pack. And next up, we've got Grabby Giant, 3 and a red for an adventure. It's a 3/4, so 4 mana 3/4 reach. It's got an ability.
4/3.
Sorry, 4/3. My bad. 4 mana 4/3 reach. 2 and a red. Sacrifice an artifact or a land. You draw a card. And then, I was like, what do you think about that? Of course, there's an adventure side. There's an adventure side said, that's mine. It's 1 and a red for an instant. Create a treasure token.
Yeah, 4/3 being again important because it's another 4 power common for the red-green deck.
Mm-hmm.
And you can potentially play it on turn 3 if you have nothing to. If you don't have a 2-drop or a 3-drop, this does self-fix for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's Sneaky Reach, which I'm sure is going to catch people in week 1.
Yep.
And I kind of like this card.
Yeah, sometimes the instant speed make a token will trigger your celebration. Your opponent's not really expecting it, right? That's a little thing too. You generally don't want to be casting this on turn 2. It's a buyout in a lot of ways. You don't have another 2-drop, but it's better than doing nothing, certainly. So this is I think just a solid C.
Yeah, I was going to put this as a C as well.
Moving on to a Bellowing Bruiser, another adventure here. 4 and a red for a 4/4 haste. So 5 mana 4/4 haste. The adventure is Beat a Path. 2 and a red for a sorcery. Up to 2 target creatures can't block this turn.
Yeah, this one's kind of weird because normally you want your not block things to be after you've added to your board.
Yeah, definitely.
And this one you have to do it before you play the creature.
Yeah, that kind of card you generally play as like the last spell you cast in a game, right? So it's kind of weird that you draw another spell tacked on.
Yeah, so it kind of like it gets in some damage, but then they know the 4/4 haste is coming, so it's not really it's not like, haha, I've surprised you.
I fooled you.
And you're dead out of nowhere. So I really have a tough time with this, and this one's I think one we can easily get very wrong, but I'm not that high on this.
Yeah, I'm also not as high as some of the other adventures we've seen. I would start this as a D+. I don't think either of these. I don't think that the combination here plays that well together, and the creature side on its own is not great. I can't wait. Can't wait that this card is great, and we just start calling it Aomer, the second coming of Aomer, and yeah. But yeah, I don't think it's. I won't start there. I'll say that.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you on D+.
Why don't you start us with our first red uncommon here?
We have Emperorth Veteran, red for a 2/1, and it has an ability to pay 1 and sacrifice it to create a young hero role token attached to another target creature.
Oof. Jackal Pup is in shambles. Just looking at this card. So we got another 1-mana 2/1, like we saw one in white. And what do you think about that ability there? Because it's kind of interesting the way it plays out, where eventually your 2/1 gets blanked, and you're like, all right, it's not doing much. And I sacrifice this, and you put it on another small creature. But the stats have to be pretty specific for your 2/1 to be irrelevant, but your creature able to attack profitably. So I think...
Yeah, I think the ability's not very relevant,
Yeah.
but you do have stuff like Ginger Brute and the 1/1 flyers. Like, that's going to be where it's best.
And of course, 1-mana celebration in a pinch. That's definitely something that it's instant speed too, so your opponent has to kind of like play around an additional thing. So not trying to talk the card down a lot. I'm just trying to say that the ability isn't not as amazing as some of the other role cards we've seen, I think.
Yeah.
C?
And
C plus?
from C plus, you said?
Yeah, I think C plus.
Yeah, I could see I'm gonna go
C?
C, I think.
Okay, yeah, I'll stick with my C plus.
It's weird from an art perspective. Like, the art is, some little kid sword fighting with some strong soldier lady, and so what's that? She's sacrificing herself, and then he like picks up her sword and starts to use it way better than she ever could.
I think that's the idea. She she passes on her will to to this young lad here after, and apparently he's better than her. So
yeah, he's like within one turn, he's even if it's a 1/1, it's better than her, right?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Next up we've got Monstrous Rage. Oh, this is a cool one. Single red mana for an instant. Of course, Alex is saying this combat trick is a cool one. Single red mana for an instant and uncommon. Target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn, and you create a monster roll token attached to it. So what that means is you're attacking for, not necessarily attacking, but this is a 1-mana, single red mana instant, +3/+1 in trample, and part of that sticks around.
Yeah, this is, so I talked about with that red-green uncommon that there's a few 1-mana red spells that you could leave up as tricks, and this is a great one.
Yeah, man. Also, we were talking about the flavor text in this set. They do this joke so much. I'd love a compilation of this joke being done, because it's just like I feel like it's once per set. They got this like scary monster, and then the flavor text is like, "My, what big paws!" Yep, Thomas, the woodsman's last words. Like, so many cards that are like, "Oh, the big scary monster, the guy who said the flavor text gets eaten." But that's neither here nor there. We're really going off track with talking about the art and the flavor text for 2 cards in a row. But what do you like as a grade on Monstrous Rage? Because I like it quite a bit.
Yeah, I like all of it. This card's an incredible trick. Like, this is B-.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to give a trick that high of a grade, but it's just got all the hallmarks of what a good trick is. It's 1 mana. It pushes damage with the trample. It leaves something behind, which is like just everything you want on a combat trick. So yeah, really good.
You with me there?
Yeah, I'll join you at B-.
Okay.
Stone Splitter Bolt, X and a red for an instant with Bargain. Stone Splitter Bolt deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker. If the spell was Bargain, it deals X damage, twice X damage, sorry, instead.
Yeah, I'm not that excited about this, actually.
Yeah, same here. Like you mentioned before, these kind of X in a red or X in a black removal spells, you're generally never trading up on mana, which is bad. If this could, I wish this hit 2 things. That'd be sweet. Probably too good if you're like bargain selling to kill 2 things. The upgrade there is just,
yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting in the card for sure. But the upgrade you gain, it's gonna save you some mana here and there, but it doesn't push it over to the edge to make it be like, oh, this is a card that I'm now very happy about. I think now it's a playable card, right? From X in a red where you're not that happy, you're like, okay, maybe I'd play that too. Okay, I'll put this in my deck and it's fine.
Yeah, you need to, like, even if you bargain this and you cast it for X equals 2, so as a 3-mana card, you're only dealing 4 damage.
Yeah, it's not that efficient. So I think even with the bargain, it's still like a C- or a C. Yeah, I'll say C.
I was gonna go C-. Okay, you'll go C.
And what's our next uncommon here?
Next, we have Boundary Lands Ranger. 1 and a red for a 2/2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you can discard a card and draw a card.
So this is another one of those cards I was talking about where it's a 4 power matter payoff that comes down earlier, which is quite nice.
Yep.
It's a worse payoff, I would say, than giving, this turning into a double striker like that other uncommon we saw. But it's still solid. Like, if you're looting every turn or rummaging every turn for free, your opponent's not going to be that happy about it, right? It's almost, imagine you go this into that 4/2 we looked at a second ago, and you just start rummaging. Like, it's almost like your opponent has the ring in a lot of ways, right? It's like, oh crap, I have to kill that thing. So this is a solid little 2-drop. Not over the top, but an okay card.
Like a C+?
Yeah, I was going to give a C+ to the Boundary Lands Ranger. Next up, we've got Tattered Ratter, 1 and a red for a 2/2, and it says, whenever a rat you control becomes blocked, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn.
Yeah, this is, you want rats, but this card is great in the rat deck.
Yeah, it really just makes it so that your rats are, it disincentivizes blocking, and you're never going to get that +2 on an unblocked creature, of course, but that's okay. If your rats are just getting in, your opponent doesn't want to block, they've done their job.
I still don't think this card's like it's just a 2/2 for 2
yes.
a lot of the time.
Definitely. Kind of like the last one where it's like, okay, it's got a nice ability, but it's just a 2/2 when it comes down to it. So I think I would give
the last one I think is easier to really feel like you're running. Like the other one seems more must kill than this one.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, your opponent can kind of skirt around this a little bit.
I was gonna give this like a C-.
I was just gonna give it a C. Just a C in the rat stack.
Okay.
Belligerent of the Ball. This is, I feel like they did a similar pun last time we went to Eldraine. This is 2 and a red for a 3/3. Its celebration ability is target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains menace until end of turn.
Oh, great.
Yeah, just great. 3 mana 3/3 with that often attacks as a 4/3 menace. Woof. Nice.
Or like if you have something else that you want, it doesn't have to target itself.
Yeah, that's true. Move that around.
I like this card.
Yeah, like often what's going to happen is you play like a 2-power 2-drop. Your opponent plays maybe a 2/3 on curve. You play this, and then they on turn 4 you double spell or get 2 permanents to enter. Your 2-drop can now attack in, and this 3/3 is likely to attack in too. B- for Belligerent.
I was going to go C+.
C+.
If you want to go B-.
Yeah, I'll go B-. I'll go B- here. Okay. Twisted Fealty. This is 2 and a red for a sorcery. You gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste. And you create a Wicked Roll token attached to up to 1 target creature.
This thing's a lot of damage.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had 2 active treasons that are... I would just say, there's not a lot of steal and sack going on here. So I think to get you to play these effects, they just pushed them a lot for, like, you're just going to play this in your aggressive deck a lot of the time.
Yeah, between Celebration... and these tokens that can't block and all the rolls enabling attacks, that like it does seem like quite an aggressive set.
Yes, that's one thing that we haven't really touched on, but we kind of danced around it maybe. I think you're right. I think if I'm to give a prediction, this is going to be a fast set. Not to the point where it's unassailably fast and you can't do anything to slow it down, but I think the default with all these cheap creatures and aggressive leaning mechanics is mostly aggressive. And in an aggressive format where people are just kind of ships in the night racing back and forth, active treasons tend to be pretty good. So yeah, I would just give this, just like I gave the Ariad's Apple or whatever that was, the Tempting Apple active treason, I gave that a C. I would also give this a C.
Yeah, C's about there's never going to be a deck where you're always going to play active treason, so it's about the highest grade you can give an active treason.
Yeah, definitely. And what's up next?
Corvold and the Noble Thief is the Red Saga. Chapter 1, create a treasure token. Chapter 2, create a treasure token. Chapter 3, exile the top 3 cards of target opponent's library. You may play those cards this turn. But notably, you do have to spend the correct color of mana on them, which is why you have all these treasure tokens.
Right, yeah. I actually think I would be okay with this card if it drew from your library. I think... the fact that you have to kind of commit, as long as your opponent's playing a different color, you have to commit those treasures to casting the cards that you exile. I'm kind of off of it. It's Bath Song-esque. I'm not going to say it's Bath Song, it is Bath Song, but it makes mana and draws cards. And at a worse rate and a worse effect than Bath Song. I think this is mostly bad, though. Yeah, I can't imagine this is going to be better than most other 4-mana plays.
Waiting for that grade. I've written mine down already.
I'm going to go D.
D. I have a full letter grade lower than you. Finally, we have a disagreement.
Oh, you just gave it an F? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess
I just gave it a straight F.
Yeah, that's fair. I was thinking there's like niche decks that probably want it's kind of like my D minus grade. It's like, okay, I can see it. No, I think F is totally serviceable and totally right here. I'll even join you. Let me just give it a hard grade. Sorry. You can't have us breaking our brand for this episode. We got to be in lockstep here. Next one's a cool one. Witchstalker Frenzy. 3 and a red for an instant. It costs 1 less to cast for each creature that attack this turn, and it deals 5 damage to target creature.
Yeah, it's not even attacking creature you control.
Yeah,
it's just any attacking creature.
Man, this thing's pretty nice. Like if you have to cast it for 4 mana, it's not even that bad. Like it's pretty good. Deal 5 is a lot.
This thing's like a B+?
Yeah, I think so. We gave the black exile target creature spell a B, and this, I think the upside of sometimes this is 1 or 2 mana is better than the upside on that other card, that like Scryed. So yeah, I'll give a B+ to Witchstalker Frenzy. Seems great. And what's next?
Next is Two-Headed Hunter. 4 and a red for a 5/4 menace, and it has an adventure, which is an instant for 1 and a red to give a creature double strike.
Oh, this is good. Yeah, I like both of
really
those.
Good.
Yeah, 5/4 menace is big. 2 mana double strike, that's fine. Yeah, I'd give Two-Headed Hunter a C+. I don't think you're ever cutting this card.
Yeah, I almost wanted to go B- on this.
A little higher?
I think this card.
Yeah, I'll stick with C+, but it's a good card. Oh, one thing I want to note that chat brought up is, man, does red have a lot of removal spells. Like, so many red cards are removal. All right, and that's going to bring us to our last red card here. Hearth Elemental. 6 mana, 5 and a red for a 4/5. It costs X less to cast or X the number of instants and sorceries or adventures in your... Oh, sorry. In your graveyard. Yes, all this kind of thing is counting in your graveyard. Let me read that again. The spell costs X less to cast for X the number of cards in your graveyard that are instant sorceries and or have an adventure. So it's sort of Tolarian Terror-ish, if you want to make a comparison, a recent comparison, but it's a 4/5. It doesn't have Ward 2. The adventure side of this, it is an adventure. Stoke Genius, 1 and a red for a sorcery. Discard your hand, then draw 2 cards.
So this is one maybe we'll disagree on. So what do you think of this card?
I don't love it, actually. I think that it doesn't... Yeah, it was that darn it. I thought we'd have a disagreement. We're just too good, Mark. We're just too good. I think, or equally bad. You never know. It's doesn't curve into itself. You don't want to be casting... Like, just doesn't make a lot of sense unless this is the last thing you cast. And then if this is the last thing you cast, you're not getting, like, a full... Well, I was going to say, you're not feeling that good about the discount you get on the Elemental, but you've just drawn 2 cards, so maybe you do. Maybe I'm talking myself up a little bit, but I think I'm talking myself down still, because if you're not in that scenario, it's just like a not great Tolarian Terror. If you're dumping a bunch of spells in your yard or casting a bunch of cheap cantrips, it's a hard one to evaluate, I think. But yeah, I'd like to hear your words on this.
Yeah, I think this thing's decent, but both sides are basically the last card you want to cast.
Yeah, that's the problem, right?
You never want to see this in your opening hand. Tolarian Terror was in like such a slow format that it really like overperformed relative to what you thought based on the spoiler.
Right.
So I thought you might be tricked into giving this like a really high grade because it's kind of like Terror with upside. But
yeah,
I was going to give it a C-.
Yeah, this is one I think I'm going to have to feel out as we play it. I'm definitely agreeing that it's more not good than good. But it's an interesting card. I'll say that. I'll join you at C- for now, but it's gonna be interesting to see. All right, and making good time here. What do you think of red?
Red looks insane.
Yeah, red looks great. Just like so many cards are like, oh, that's good, that's good, that's good. Like compare the red cards to the white cards. So many of the white cards you have to work for. You're like, okay, well, in a turn this will do something. You have to untap. All the red cards are like, yeah, I'm just good. You know, so yeah, I think red is quite a strong color.
Yeah, red looks. I'd say it's probably as strong as Lord of the Rings Black. Like just very few misses, lots of cards you're happy to first pick, lots of efficient removal. Does like pairs with any color, like red white is going to be great. Red blue is going to be good. Red green, red black, all of them look incredible. So you're not even like worried about your first pick not making your deck.
Definitely.
Red just looks insanely strong to me.
Yeah, co-sign that. And home stretch,